You were born in a sterile, heavily guarded wing of a hospital in Pyongyang, the section reserved for the elite, which in practical terms means your family and a rotating cast of generals who have not yet been accused of treason. 3 months before your birth, the maternity wing is swept for bugs, traitors, Western ideas, and suspicious dust particles that might be CIA agents in disguise. The walls are repainted, the staff are replaced, the replacements are replaced again. Everyone signs loyalty oaths promising eternal devotion to the supreme leader, your father. Doctors are not selected for medical expertise. They are selected for ideological purity and their ability to clap enthusiastically on command. Outside the delivery room, agents from the State Security Department stand guard, their expressions frozen in disciplined terror. They are not guarding a baby. They are guarding their own survival. When your first cry echoes through the room, the nurses burst into applause. Not out of joy, out of survival instinct. One nurse claps slightly off rhythm and briefly considers throwing herself out a window. You are wrapped in silk embroidered with the national emblem before you have even opened your eyes. Within hours, state television announces your birth as a miraculous event blessed by the heavens. Fireworks erupt over the Capitol. Citizens flood the streets in choreographed celebration. Workers cry tears of gratitude. Those who do not cry convincingly enough will be noted. You have not yet learned to breathe properly. Millions are already celebrating you. Or else. Your father, Kim Jong-un, is not present at your birth. He is busy inspecting missile silos or executing a relative for insufficient enthusiasm. Instead, he sends a gift, a tiny gold-plated replica of the Juche Tower. It symbolizes self-reliance. This is deeply ironic, because you will never rely on yourself for anything. Your breathing schedule will be monitored, your meals pre-approved, your friendships scripted, your laughter rehearsed. From the moment you exist, people are afraid of you, not because you are dangerous, but because you are an extension of him. Nurses handle you like a live grenade. They whisper praises while sweating through their uniforms. Dropping you would not merely end a career, it would end a family tree. Your mother smiles for cameras. She holds you carefully, like someone holding state secrets disguised as an infant. Even she knows better than to become too attached. In this family, affection is a vulnerability. Love can be weaponized. Your childhood unfolds inside the sprawling Ryongsong residence, a compound larger than some cities. It contains marble halls longer than train platforms, underground bunkers, private lakes stocked with imported fish, a zoo featuring giraffes that look confused and politically neutral, and a movie theater screening propaganda films about your bloodline's divine heroism. Luxury surrounds you. So does electrified fencing and guard dogs trained to interpret hesitation as treason. You do not play with neighborhood children. You interact with the offspring of high-ranking officials who are trained extensively to lose at games. Tag, you are untouchable. Hide and seek, they pretend not to find you for hours. Board games, you win before the rules are explained. At age 5, a boy beats you at chess. You throw a tantrum. The next day, he is gone.
Your tutors explain that his family was relocated for agricultural opportunities. You assume he cheated. The adults laugh nervously. Even the servants bow so low their foreheads nearly sand the marble floors. "Long live the successor," they whisper. It sounds less like praise and more like a protected spell. Your bedtime stories include how your grandfather wrestled tigers, how your bloodline invented hamburgers, how your family controls the weather, and how the sun rises out of respect. You believe these things. Not believing them would require questioning reality. Questioning reality is treason. At 6 years old, you ask whether the sun ever gets tired. 3 adults panic. One writes a report titled "Infant Curiosity with Potentially Counter-Revolutionary Undertones." At 7, you receive your first code name, Bright Star. It sounds poetic. It actually refers to evacuation protocols in case of coup attempts, assassination plots, American invasion, internal betrayal, or suspicious pigeons. The secret guard unit shadows you everywhere, men in black suits who look like they were born already disappointed. They do not smile, they do not blink, they monitor everything. If you sneeze, 3 agencies file paperwork. School is private. Your instructors are imported, vetted, surveilled, and ideologically sterilized. History, your family defeated imperialism personally. Science, ideology powers the universe. Math, 2 plus 2 equals whatever preserves stability. You once said, but what if 2 plus 2 is 5? Silence. Then your tutor nods, if the leader wills it. You are shown executions on closed-circuit television. This is strength, they say. It feels like numbness. At 10, during dinner, you joke, the weather is as cold as a defector's heart. Everyone laughs hysterically, too hysterically. Later, you overhear whispers. One uncle did not laugh hard enough. He has been relocated. You start thinking before every sentence. You start thinking before every thought. Is this treason becomes your internal ringtone? At 13, you discover smuggled foreign movies. In those films, leaders are mocked. Teenagers argue with parents. People say no and survive. You stare at the screen like it's science fiction. Your guards pretend not to notice. Reporting you could be fatal. Not reporting you could also be fatal. Your classmates treat you like a radioactive heirloom. They agree with everything you say. If you say, I think clouds look suspicious, they nod solemnly. Yes, very suspicious clouds. You develop a crush on a general's daughter. She smiles perfectly. Her eyes say, please don't ruin my bloodline. You once whispered, do you ever feel watched? She nearly faints.
The relationship ends when she writes something slightly critical in a private note. Her family apologizes publicly. Then they disappear. You learn intimacy is impossible when affection carries geopolitical consequences. At 14, you ask a guard what he dreams about. He replies instantly, I dream about your prosperity. You ask again. He repeats the same sentence. You stop asking. Your father begins inviting you to meetings. Officials grovel. Policies align magically with his mood. You sit beside him, practicing your impassive stare. Inside, you narrate it like a sitcom, when Dad's mood swing decides green quotas. Purge bingo, who's leaving the planet tonight? You never say these aloud. You enjoy oxygen. At 16, you attend your first public execution. Front row. The crowd cheers with mechanical enthusiasm. You see terror behind their eyes. That is when you understand. They are not only afraid of your father, they are afraid of you. You are the sequel. You are the coming soon trailer nobody asked for. Your rebellion is microscopic, sneaking cognac, listening to forbidden music at volume level 2. Once you mutter, what if we tried democracy? 3 bodyguards visibly age. At Kim Il-sung University, professors assign you perfect scores before exams. Students avoid eye contact. Your best friend is a bodyguard who reports everything. You once tell him, if I ever disappear, promise you'll miss me. He responds, I will miss you according to protocol. By 22, you travel abroad. In Switzerland, diplomats bow so deeply you worry about spinal injuries. In Russia, officials sweat through expensive suits. You stay in fortified villas. You are never alone. You are never free. When you enter a room, conversations die. It feels powerful. It feels lonely. You joke privately, I should charge rent for all this silence. Paranoia creeps in slowly. You begin distrusting siblings, aides, reflections. Mirrors become suspicious. What are you plotting? You ask your own face. Your father grows older, heavier, more isolated. You once see him alone, shoulders slumped. For a moment, he looks human. It unsettles you more than his rage, because if he is human, then this is a choice. By 30, you've signed documents that make people vanish. You tell yourself, stability requires sacrifice. You avoid asking whose stability. You ride through the city in armored convoys. You glimpse hunger through tinted windows. You crack a bitter joke to yourself. Being the son of a dictator is like winning the lottery in hell. Everywhere you go, people bow. In elevators, in hallways, in parking lots. One janitor faints mid-bow. You instinctively help him up. 3 officials panic. Human kindness is not protocol.
You start imagining writing a self-help book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective Absolute Rulers. Chapter 1, Trust No One. Chapter 2, Trust No One Again. Chapter 3, If You Trusted Anyone, see Chapter 1. You own palaces, nuclear weapons, absolute obedience, absolute isolation. You possess everything. You experience nothing. You are adored. You are alone. You are feared. You are imprisoned. You are the most powerful hostage on earth. At night, you stand before a mirror, practicing the expression of a god. The face staring back looks tired. You whisper, "Do I believe this?" Outside, millions chant your name. Inside, silence terrifies you, because silence is where doubt lives, and doubt is treason. Sometimes you imagine defecting, running, starting over somewhere anonymous. Then you remember, you are the most recognizable prisoner alive. There is no anonymous for you. You wonder if someday believing the propaganda would be easier. Maybe conviction is more comfortable than doubt. Maybe monsters sleep better. You are an heir to a throne built on fear, a prince of a hermit kingdom, a ruler in waiting, a child who never stopped being watched, a man no one dares to know. And the darkest joke of all, everyone thinks you hold absolute power, but your life was decided long before your first cry echoed in that silent, applauding room. You were never free. You were just next.